Hi, day 2 of our hangout here. And yeah, so as promised, I would start talking about topics and things that you guys emailed me or sent in. This hair though. Anyway, so as I mentioned, as I mentioned yesterday, quick recap, the 3 things that you need, hopefully you wrote them down before you're thinking about your marketing strategy or your brand strategy for the next year is the basic the plan, understanding your competitive market and your competitive analysis and what's your unique niche. So I got some awesome feedback yesterday. Shout out to Miss Aisha Crawford. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your emails and thank you for your insight. I'm glad that I took the time to do it yesterday. Like I said, this is my little experiment, fun, give back, hashtag commitment to myself for the next 365. And as you're getting ready for the next year and what you're going to do and where you're going to be, number 1 of the most important things is understanding what's the roadmap to help you to get there. And so with all of that good stuff said, I'm going to hop right into all of the goodies. I see we got some people that jumped on. Welcome, welcome. And thanks for joining. This is kind of fun. I don't know how to do all the little cool Google things yet. Maybe I'll put like a little hat or something sometime throughout here. Give myself a little tiara game or something. Oh, there it is. A little tiara game or something like that. Or a little mustache. I don't know. But anywho, before we go any further, let me go into our topic for today. Because you know I get all off here and there and get onto the whole motivation kick. And I realize this tiara thing is still here and that's not cool. So let me just go ahead and nix her. Bye, girl. And pick up from where we were. Okay, so I wanted to share some insights with you guys. So when you ask me about how do I know the things that I know or how did I get good at what I do? Like, how do you get good at what you do? Well, the reason this is one of my passions and that I've always really loved it is because it's an opportunity for me to constantly grow because our industry in media and branding and marketing and advertising is constantly growing and expanding. And so to keep yourself from being a part of the churn and burn movement, and if you don't know what the churn and burn movement is, great for you, good on you. But churn and burn is basically when you work with, or the term was first introduced to me when I was working with an agency and people would say, well, watch out because they're going to steal your creativity. And, you know, they just burn them out and they churn them through. Like when you're churning butter, they're churning out creatives and churning out good talent. They underpay them, undervalue them, and then move on to the next. And so you don't want to churn and burn marketplace. You don't want to churn and burn business. You want to be able to cultivate those around you that are creative. And so one way that I stay current and I stay into the issues and I stay relevant and I stay focused on the things that are important as far as understanding what's going to be the best for my client's brand, what's the best for my brand, is constantly reading industry articles and magazines and staying really current on those who are current and are relevant. And so this article is just so relevant and it's so awesome. And I actually linked it in the description. It's called Learn What a Branding Campaign Is. And so if you're a small business owner or if you're a business owner, period, or you're a manager or whatever, you want to get your numbers up and get your money up, one of the key things you need to understand is what's a campaign? And then what's a branding campaign? And I word cleared some of that good stuff for you guys yesterday. We went over some definitions and I heard that that was helpful. So I'm going to clear some more things for you today. So when you think about a brand is more than a simple logo. People just throw a logo up and be like, okay, salute and ready to go. It's more than just a logo. It really is an experience that a person has with your company. So what do people feel when they're with your company and how they see you? Because what people only buy from people they know, like, and trust. So do they know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? Look at that shadow in the background. Anyway, do they know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? That's the crazy thing, you know, that you may want to ask, or that people may ask. So as we get ready to go into the first phase of like, what's a brand and what does that mean and all this kind of good stuff, it can be overwhelming. And so all we're going to focus on today is just learn what a brand campaign is and what does that mean. So the brand banner campaign, when they used to just kind of throw them up on TV or print, radio, and all that kind of good stuff, it was a core concept behind a branding campaign. And so it's putting a positive message or associating a positive message to your brand. So how do you associate something positively to your brand? How do you get your brand to be the warm and fuzzy? So when I think of, okay, I'm going to use an example from yesterday. I was really in the mood for something sweet and delicious and amazing. And so I went, in my mind, to a place that made me feel sweet and delicious and amazing. And it's this place in Atlanta called Small Cupcakes, and it's another place called Cami Cakes, but Cami Cakes is farther than my house, although I do prefer Cami Cakes, and sometimes I'll make that mission. So what is it that created that feeling? Well, it was an experience. When I walked in, it was so clean and so nice, and the cupcakes were delicious, and they had associated with another really positive brand, and that positive brand was the Food Network. So that brand's campaign aligned with another brand. So as we're going through and we think about, okay, what is branding? Again, I'm going to break it down. It's more than just a simple logo. It's encompassing the entire experience that a person has with your company. Simply defined, a brand is the immediate image, emotion, or message that people experience when they think of your product or your service with your company, okay? Then we think about brand associations, with which I mentioned a little bit about feeling a certain way about that company. The brand association are the attributes that are ideally positive, sometimes they're negative, that are associated with your brand. So when you think of BMW, you think of like owning the road. When I think of Audi, I think of I'm Audi, love it, biased. But also when you think of Volvo, when we're thinking of cars, you think of what? Safety. Great. So then in your brand campaign, we're thinking about your brand's name, okay? The word by which your company or product is known. So when you think we're on Google Hangouts, we're hanging out together. There's a brand name for this service that they offer, and this is actually a product and service that they offer through Google. And then next, your brand's personality. So what is your brand's personality? When I think of personality or brand personality, you think of what? When you think of like Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj, you're thinking like big and outlandish and crazy as of now. And then when they get ready to change their image, or you think celebrities change their image, like recently Nicki Minaj has decided to go back to more natural hair colors and no more of the pink and rainbow color wigs and all those different things. Well, that was her brand personality at that point in time, and she's decided to change it. And that brings us to today for you guys, because just because your brand has been one way for so many years doesn't mean that it has to continue to be that way. It can always change or grow to something else. And as the brand leader, you, as the person who really takes the lead and takes control of your brand as the brand boss, it's going to be up to you to flip that switch and get people to see your brand the way that you want them to see your brand. And so what does that encompass? How do you change that? Well, it's going to be a couple different things. And one of those things is called positioning. Where your company or product fits into the marketplace. Position is determined by a company's core business or product offering. The businesses or the benefits it provides to consumers and society, and the advantages it has over its competition. For example, Honda's position may be summarized as: we manufacture motor vehicles in a wide range of models that provide comfort, reliability, and fuel efficiency at competitive prices. So that's their position. What's going to be your position in the market, and how are you going to own that position? My position in my market is that I am a little hardcore, kick in the pants, ready to go, brand. And that's just my brand. And I'm not for everybody. I'm a get her done type of brand. And that's what I care about. And it's not about numbers for me. For me, it's about quality over quantity. I'm not for everyone. Everyone can't afford me. Everyone can't afford you. Everyone may not be able to get what you're offering, and you may not be for everyone, but you're for someone. So when you think about your strategic position in the market and owning your space, you're not going to be able to service everyone. So how do you service your target consumer the best way that you know how? How can you take advantage of the market in the way that ultimately you shine. It's not an area that is kind of, sort of, some way here and there as far as what you can bring to the table. What adds that clarity that I talked about yesterday when I said that clarity plus consistency equals credibility, adds that clarity and that consistency and credibility to your brand is by owning your brand position and playing your role, staying in your lane. And then finally, I'm going to just run over this one tagline: a catchy, memorable phrase or sentence that expands on the logo's concept, further describing your product or service or your brand. So most famously, I cannot talk today. Most famously, when you think of the Nike swoosh, what do you think? Just do it. That's their brand. Just do it. Just do it. So what is the tagline? What do you want people to know you for? And so in my company, Mobus Media Group, it's creative solutions to make your first impression last. And so that's a little bit of a mouthful. But when people ask me, well, what is it that you do? My tagline as an individual is, I solve problems. I solve problems. I get things done. And so that's my personal brand. So when you think about your brand campaign and you think about what you can bring to the market and what you bring to the table, make sure that you're thinking about overall, how can I set up my brand's campaign so that all of these pieces are working together and I understand the basic branding concepts? And so I'm going to leave you guys with this. Okay, I put the link below so you can check out the article I just quickly reviewed. I was just very quick, but I want to leave you with this story, story / case study. And so one of my mentors, very, very brilliant, was not very familiar with Facebook, wasn't really familiar with social media, but they hired a company to do their social media and do all of their different things. Well, that company didn't necessarily understand their brand. So when you're thinking about aligning yourself with people that are supposed to be representing you, make sure that they understand what it is that you do. Make sure that people on your team understand the benefits and the beauty of your brand. Because what happens is, the truth, most basic, how can you sell something that you don't understand? How can I sell something that I don't believe in? How can you? It's not truly possible. And the people that do, they'll do it for so long and then they'll burn out and be on to the next thing. So when you're building teams of people to support your brand, they should be 100% on board with what it is that you have to offer in the market. And you keep showing up like that, you know? People are going to tune in and tune out of your world. That's fine. Tune in, tune out. I'm not for you. You know, you get to that point, like your brand may not be for them, but you can still have a positive perspective and outlook and be able to shine and do what needs to happen. So the company was posting for them, and they were posting on their social media and posting, and they would get like a couple likes here and there, and there was this and that. And so at the time, maybe they had a couple thousand likes and they had some interactivity on their social media. Well, they decided to take it on themselves. They took it out of their hands and decided to take it on themselves. And they did something so different. They didn't do posts that were just small, you know, and like little menial things. They actually took the time and cultivated a message that could be utilized with the social media on a consistent basis. This was their strategy. Their branding campaign took on a life of its own. Now, from a couple thousand likes and a couple people, 100 people liking here and there and interacting and commenting, to a couple 100,000. It's at a whole nother level. From a couple thousand to a couple 100,000, and your average post having over 8,000 likes, everyone wants to leverage that for themselves in the market, but they don't really understand what they had to do to make that happen. They set a campaign in place. And so as I go back to yesterday, again, when I talked about having those 3 things in place so that you have a plan of action, everything is really about your plan for your brand. And so it's not as overwhelming as you may think, and can actually be really, 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 really fun. Eleanor Roosevelt said that I am who I am today because of the choices I made yesterday. The choices that you make today will reflect where your brand will be tomorrow and anywhere in the near future. So it's up to you to step outside that box and go to the next level with your brand and start studying some of the most successful brands in the industry. Even if they're not necessarily exactly in the same lane that you're in, there's something about what they're doing successfully with branding, with social media, with incorporating all of the key pieces that you could use and utilize for yourself and for your brand. So on that note, I hope you guys know that the proof is in the pudding. So try some things out, and everything may not necessarily work right off the bat, but only you know what's going to work for you and for your brand. Copying someone else is not the answer, but you can study the competition so that you know what is effective and ineffective for your target consumer. And at the end of the day, if you don't have a spirit of service and you're not authentic as far as your brand experience and who you are and what you represent and what your product brings to the market, people will see through it and they won't want to deal with you. So be exactly who you are. Continue to show up and remember your why for why you started your brand and why it came to life and why you do all the awesome things that you do. Okay, on that note, see, I still got some people viewed in here. I love you guys so much. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow. If you send me a comment or a question or something that you want to specifically focus on, then I will focus on that. You already know my background, from TV producing to radio producing to entertainment industry, to live concerts and events, to motivational speaking and everything else. Who knows? So I've done it all. And the one thing that I know is, and I appreciate about having done these different things, is that it's important to bring all the aspects of who you are together. It's important to have a happy medium and have it mold and mesh and be all beautiful and amazing. And only you can bring that to your market, and only you can bring that to your consumer. So don't wait any longer. It's time for you to start knocking it down. And it's not just about getting some beautiful graphics up, because I've seen the Maserati of logos and the Maserati of websites that didn't do nothing for nobody. They didn't generate traffic and they didn't bring in a return on investment. So the important thing is, if you want to return on your investment, is to truly understand that at the end of the day, if you're going to make some positive moves and some big changes in 2015, the time to start doing it is now. And that's the reason that I started this video blog now and not waited to the beginning of the year, because I want next year for you to look totally different than this year. And so whether you're a network marketer or you're just new to your own business and you've been kind of intimidated by the market, I encourage you, I implore you to step outside the box and start to be creative when it comes to your brand, because only you know that. And people that understand the industry and work in the industry and all that kind of good stuff, we are just literally there to support you. But no one will care more about your dreams and your visions and your goals than you. And remember this as I end off for today. You can't sell a dream to someone whose mind can't afford it. I heard that from Dr. Tracy Lynn. Stop trying to sell your dream to people whose mind can't afford it. Your brand and your brand campaign and where you'll be next year, maybe they can't see it, but I see it for you, and I don't even know you. I don't know you, I can't see you, I can't feel you in this moment, but I do know that it's absolutely possible, because I see it every day. I see the impossible achieved on a daily basis. Even in my own life, for me to be sitting here and having this conversation with you is amazing. So sending you love and light and wishing you a good night. And I'll put back on my crown for today. She's like, there we go. I was like, you don't even want to come and sit down. Actually, no, forget the crown. I'm going to switch it to this. We just graduated day 1. I mean, day 2. Have fun this year. Have fun with your brand. Stop worrying about overdoing everything and making everything so super, super perfect and everything else. My goodness. Life is supposed to be fun. It's an adventure. Helen Keller said, life is either a daring adventure or it's boring. Like, stop being boring. Have fun with all the things that you work so hard for. And I'll review some more stuff for you guys. Find some more really awesome articles. But I I suggest, if you want some reading, to check out the Harvard Business Review, check out Inc.com, check out Entrepreneur.com, check out Creativity Online. Yeah, those are just some quick ones for you. And all the answers you need are just a click away. So if you can't find it right now or you don't know, go get it and make it happen. Have an awesome Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow.